If you struggle with meditation or just simply haven't started yet because you cannot focus properly, then you need to follow this one step to improve and start meditating properly. And this step is thinking of a singular two-step thought. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the fuck am I going on about? But let me explain what I mean. A singular two-step thought is a term that I've made up, and what it means is to think of something and then think of another thing, but those two things have to correlate with each other. If you still don't get what I mean, let me tell you my singular two-step thoughts for when I'm meditating. Because meditating is focusing on your breathing, I basically break that down and turn it into a two-step thought. First thinking of breathing in, then I think of breathing out. So you see how I've just turned one singular thought of breathing and split it up into two, breathing in, breathing out. Now it sounds really obvious, but it's actually not, because us humans make the mistake of when trying to meditate, we only try and focus on one thing. And yeah, that's obviously possible, but it's also harder and it will take way more time. I feel like my way is more efficient because as humans, it's naturally hard to put all of our mind into one thing, all of our focus into one thing. So we can turn that one thing, break it down into two, so our mind has something to bounce back off of. So when our minds are bored of one thought, we can bounce to the next, and then the next. Well, not the next, because there's only two thoughts. Bounce from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. So our brains will never get entirely bored with just, because imagine if you're just sitting there thinking of the same thing. Let's just say you're thinking of a candle, right? Just a candle with a fire, right? A lit candle. You're just thinking of that for 20 minutes, right? Because that's how long I meditate for. That's gonna sound boring, right? But if you think of a candle, right, that gets blown out and then it gets lit again, and then it gets blown out and then it gets lit again. It's like you're playing like almost a game with your mind, where like your brain is thinking of two technically different things, but they correlate with each other, they relate to each other. And basically it's one thought. You're only thinking of a candle, but in that thought of the candle, it's two different things that are happening. This way, our brains won't get bored of just thinking of the same thing, the same thought over and over in our head, and we'll have some variety of breaking that thought into two. But the only rule is these two thoughts have to relate with each other. They have to correlate, or it just doesn't really work. The whole point of meditating is putting your focus into one thing. And if you're putting your focus into two things, it's not really going to have the same effect. Basically, what I'm saying is instead of thinking of one thing and then thinking of one other thing, 1 + 1 = 2, you think of half of a thing and then think of the other half of a thing, which equals 1. Simple. I hope this did make sense to you guys. I know it is a bit confusing, but hopefully you get the gist of what I'm really trying to say, and just doing my simple step supports you on your meditation journey. To check out my video on why I actually speak about why meditation helps you so much and it's amazing, it's on screen now. Check it out if you haven't already. Thank you boys for watching. As always, peace, love.